Hey, update on the Clubdate combo, that is. It's my 65 Clubdate combo, 8x12, 14x20. You've seen it in a previous review. It's looking a little cleaner than it did in the past. I used a product called, well, it's not, you can make it at home, Retro Bright, which is essentially peroxide and OxyClean and a few other components, and basically what it does is it kind of reverses the UV effect on white plastic. It keeps it from getting yellow, or it reverses the yellowing. You can see, if you compare to the old video, it was almost orange in certain spots, and this one now it's kind of a creamier yellow. You can still see the spot where the hoop was sitting over it, because the hoop was off of it and just sitting over the part of the shell. But I wasn't going for 100%. I wanted it to look like it's as old as it is. Otherwise, I could have just rewrapped it. This drum set isn't in perfect condition, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was previously. I re-glued the hoops, filled them, and then hit them with some satin paint, and put the inlay back in. The inlay I also had to scrub. The Retro Bright is a liquid, and you have to add something to make it thicker. Be it xanthium gum is one of them. I didn't have access to that. I did it shade tree style with cornstarch, and you had to keep on applying it with a paintbrush and not let it dry out, and at the same time worrying about getting the bearing edges all wet and everything. These drums were not in great shape anyway, so the 8x12 is a little out of round, so it doesn't tune all that well. The wrap still has a crack there, which I've glued down a little bit. I still may wrap it again, but at the same time, I don't know, I'm not going to get that finish out of it. It almost looks like a natural wood grain. And I also got the little cymbal holder, there's moon gel sitting on there. This is a cymbal holder tilter, and the actual correct wing screw there. I don't have the original one on this thing there. I gotta find another one of those. Those are really tough to find, and I'm still looking for a plate for the consolette, but you can see a little lamp cord going into the bass drum. I do have it lighted. Show you that here in a few. But all in all, pretty cool. One of my other, it's sitting with my Superphonic, my lead alloy version, and the Speed King, so I'll play it and let you guys hear it. On the other side of the room, I have my my little cocktail or jungle kit. I actually replaced the bass drum / floor tom shell. That's actually 14x15 now. It's a little smaller. It doesn't sound better in my opinion. I like the 16x16 I had. I ended up putting that on another kit that I sold. The other one was a stencil shell. This one's actually from SwingStar, but it had a big hole drilled in it and a bunch of other stuff, so I didn't really worry about putting extra mounts on it. I think I got 4 mounts on the L bracket mounts on the top and 3 on the bottom, so it's got a ton of brackets all over it. I put a firecracker snare, the Pearl, that's not firecracker, M80 snare, 4.5x10 or 4x10, and then I got the 9x8 tom that I had before. That 15 has been painted. My brother decided to try to paint it because it was just a naked shell just to see what it looked like. Unfortunately, that drum wasn't in existence, the 9x8. I didn't have it at the time, so I should have painted both of them, but we'll figure it out. I'll probably end up rewrapping it or finding a different shell. I do have a 16x18 that would make an awesome bass drum for that kit, but I really don't want to drill holes in it. That is a Superstar 16x18 candy apple red with a red stain inside, the Neil Peart style floor tom, and it's looking for somebody somewhere needs this drum. I got it in a pile of other crap drums, and this thing just stood out. I was like, whoa. So it does have the little foot adjuster on the back spur, but not on the front too. And it's got a share of nicks. It does not have the Tama sticker inside the shell anymore, but it's all there. 16x18, got pinstripe on the top and ebony ambassador on the bottom. And my 18x24 Yamaha bass drum too. This is another Orphan that I got. I bought it back in the early days of eBay. Was going to put it on my Turbo Tour, or I did, for a long time to 18 by 24s, but my turbo tour, as you guys know, is yellow, and it looks silly unless I had to swap every other drum. But I thought I was going to sand that down and have it painted by an auto store to match that kit, or auto shop, body shop, but I decided against that, and I do have, you know, a bunch of other yellow drums now too. Then I also have the World Series back in there, Pearl. Was it 10 by 10, 10 by 12, 14 by 14, 16 by 16, 16 by 22, and a little piccolo snare that I wrapped all in. That's the same thing as a Satin Flame, but I found it at Petco as a fish tank background. It is not the translucent type. It has a white backing on it, so it's the same kind of stuff they use for Satin Flames. So I think it was like $3 a foot, but it was only by 12, so my 14, 16, and 22 drums have a graft in the middle of the shell, which really sucks, but that didn't cost me a whole lot to wrap that drum, and I just used double-face tape on the seam like Pearl used to do. I was going to stain that kit anyway. Also, you can see my Scream For Me Iron Maiden banner that I made for an Iron Maiden show. Actually made it up on stage. They didn't hold it up though, so kind of a little pain there. Then the Leedy, of course. I've actually rented this kit out twice to Sacramento Ballet. They used it twice for the drummer. Likes using vintage drums, and he's not from around here, and he put a thing out on the vintage drum forum, and I said, I got a Duco kit. I don't know if it would be right for Great Gatsby, is the ballet they were using it on, and he actually saw a video that I did of the kit and thought it sounded good, and so arranged to rent it, and it's been used twice now, and he tunes it a lot more jazzier than I do. I tune everything all low and rock, but it's kind of cool for those drums to be used for, in my opinion, its intended purpose, and still look pretty cool and sound awesome. So that's with the Shelly snare, which is basically a Gene Krupa model with with Leedy lugs. And then I got my classic deluxe. By the way, this drum set is 8 by 12, 16 by 16, 14 by 22, and then I think it's 5.5 by 14. The 9 by 13, 16 by 16, and 14 by 22 classic deluxe does not have a cymbal holder. I know it was shown in the 70s catalog, or 69 or 68 catalog. Oh no, excuse me, the 67 catalog, I think. I don't know. You guys know better than I do. Anyway, this is a 67 kit. It is really dingy looking. The floor tom's really dark. The bass drum's got some dark spots, and the tom looks good from this side, which leads me to believe that it was played lefty. Also, that the bass drum mount was moved over, so that the way the sun hits it, if you set it up backwards, it looks right, and if you set it up the correct way, it looks like the tom is sky blue pearl and the floor tom is black diamond pearl, which it's not. And then I got my other little project here. My basically it's a Frankenstein kit that's either going to be a Hollywood or a rock duo or maybe a Blue Note, if I can afford that many other drums. 5x14 with a classic throw off, so I guess that just makes it a Ludwig classic snare. I guess it's not a buddy unless it's 5.5, and it's not a Jazz Fest because it's got the classic throw off. So it's funny, I picked that up for really cheap, and I'm fine with it. I like the classic throw off. It's fine. Just finding the snares for it's really expensive. I think I paid about $50 for that set of snares on it. Then I got an 8x12, which is beautiful, except for a horrible snare rash on the other side. 9x13, which is a shade darker or a little dingier, but it was a deal. And then the 16x16, that is immaculate. It's got the Donworth sticker on it. And I got that in a trade for the other. I had a 5.5 classic, which I guess would have been a considered a buddy or whatnot. But I like the 5x14. I didn't need two snares. This floor tom came along as an immaculate. Actually, I have the legs too and everything for it. Was a good trade up. So hopefully I can get to 14x20s and rock the rock duo and pretend I'm Ginger Baker or something, I do have a 14 by 14 shell that I could put into that kit too, but I'd have to wrap it, and I don't know how well that would look, but maybe I'll find a 14 by 14 for cheap. And then I got my other clubby shells here, 9 by 13 over there on top, sparkling silver, 14 by 14 floor tom shell. That's my original 64 Clubdate shell. Or floor tom. The bass drum shell there is also the mate to that, and then I got an 8 by 12 inside that shell, and a 14 by 14 that I got on eBay. That's just kind of in hopes of maybe wrapping it for the combo, the White Marine Pearl combo. But we'll see. I'm gonna wrap sparkle silver on the 8 by 12 and the 14 by 20, and I'm gonna make a little 5-piece, Clubdate. Maybe put both drums off the consolette. That 9 by 13 is actually a 66, so it's probably maple inside. I haven't scratched all the paint off to look, but it's probably not a mahogany like the other drums are. But it is bigger. It sounds fundamentally lower than the other drums that I have, so it may very well just be a leftover mahogany shell. But I'm gonna flip the badge upside down and not put a muffle in it because it's missing its baseball bat anyway. And I'm going to set up two toms. I'm going to have a little Clubdate Hollywood. Should be pretty cool little drum set. And if they were going to ever reproduce something, the clipper pieces of metal for the floor toms, geez, I just have a hard time spending, over $100 just for little parts. And I don't really want to put the other brackets on, but you never know, I might. But yeah, that should be a pretty cool little kit when it's all together.